بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
What happens when a predator pins an animal into a corner? That animal is forced to fight, to lash back. What happens when that animal has been singled out from a herd? Some herds try to defend their members. We have seen many documentaries about such behavior, where predators, numerous in strength, are attacked back by the herds they have been hunting, and driven away, even killed. Such is the situation with Palestine, a small and weak nation that has been singled out by a predator that is being supported by its small pack of strong predatory nations. Nations that have been known to target the weak and the injured. Nations that have been savages throughout their history. The nations that want to be the kings of the jungle. Nations that have advanced their military strengths at the expense of weaker nations. Countries like the US, UK, France, Italy etc. have been supporting Israel for numerous years now, in what can be called nothing other than an apartheid. The oppression of Palestine by Israel has continued for decades now, a state that originated as the result of an apartheid. Individuals that were oppressed by another nation have now become the oppressors. Israeli Jews have been milking on the idea of anti-Semitism for a long time now, feeding themselves off of the guilt of others, soaking it in, to swell their prides. For decades now, Muslims have stood on the sidelines, albeit not silently, but indeed without any actual support. All they have been doing is trying the diplomatic route, a route which hasn't been effective at all. We have been asking for help from those that have already made their bias clear. We have been asking for support from the people that have already sided with Israel, openly. What we now need to do is make our move and openly state on all international forums that if their brutality doesn't stop, we plan to make Israel a battlefield. That we intend to join the forces of all Muslim nations willing to fight, and march not only against Israel but also against those Muslim nations that plan to side with Israel or its supporters. We need to make that clear, and then act on it. We need to clarify to them that we aren't just all talk and no show. That we haven't acted so far because we wanted a peaceful resolve. But we won't wait any longer, we won't stand silently, and we will no longer sit and watch our brothers and sisters being killed, our children being slaughtered. Enough is enough. That is the only way to resolve this now. We cannot keep silent, for Allah will not help us unless we help ourselves, unless we take the initiative. We have seen multiple countries in the Middle East acknowledge and side with Israel recently, which has given Israel the confidence to increase their oppressive attacks on Palestine. We need to make our presence known to Israel and let them decide whether they want their country to become the center point of World War III or not. Whether they want to be ripped apart because of their egos, or is there still some sense left in them. As is becoming clear, diplomacy will only go so far, and any diplomatic resolution will only last for a short term. The end game will be an all-out attack on Israel as long as they continue to oppress Palestine. Unless they give Palestinians their freedom, the fate of Israel will be doomed. They know themselves how the oppression against them eventuated, and how the world united to bring down Hitler. They are becoming the new Nazis for Palestinian Muslims and will share the same fate if they keep treading on this path. For the path of evil is long and wide, but with an abrupt end.